Nation and mining family. What's going on out there? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, all you happy hashers? I see we got Crypto Bedell. He's gonna be going mobile here. Yo, we got Rude. What's up, my dude? What's going on? He's like, just in time. Yes, you are. Don't forget to smash that lizardy like button. Break it. Break that lizardy like button on. Yo, what up, Fudweiser? Seeing all the favorite peeps come rolling on in. What's up, Geek of all trades? What's going on, everybody? Yo, Rude, go to bed. It's like I'm heading to the watering hole. It's like, Bedell's gonna go out for a good time. Be safe while you're doing that, bro. And Rude's always showing support. You know, he's just cool. He's like, I don't care how late it is. I got you, fam. Rude's cool. Yo, so what is going on, everybody? Hopefully everybody's having a good beginning of the week. All that jive. So we got some stuff to go over while I'm waiting for other people to dive in before I get into the meat and potatoes of this conversation of don't just buy any old garbage hardware out there. Do your own research, guys. So before we get into that whole hot topic, when we're waiting for other people to slide on in and all that good stuff. And guys, if you could, share this out in your favorite social media. Helps me get the knowledge out to more of you awesome people. Thank you. So let's go ahead and start diving into some of this stuff. It's like, I'm going to go buy an e-bike at the price is killing me. It's like, oh, I don't know if I'd get an e-bike, really. I mean, if you don't want to leave the house type of deal, sure. Otherwise, I mean, you can go for a walk. It's free. Local woods, 1 hour's worth of walking time. Bro, fresh air, nature. You can't go wrong, I think. I mean, that's just me. So, let's go ahead and dive in. It's like, need an engine on it. I saw that what you sent me. That's pretty cool. You're a little tall for that car. I think I'd be in the same position. The steering wheel I'd get past a little easier, but that vertical height, man, that I mean, how tall is the driver? That's my question. How tall is the owner of that little car? Oh my god. That was hilarious. It was a lethal car with a lethal seat. Yes. He's like, guy was small. He was real small. No kidding. I mean, it looked like the steering wheel would have been up in my chest, and I would have been like in the ceiling, trying to straddle the dashboard because mine. I'm like 6'3", 6'3". I don't know what that is in metric. Sorry, I don't know that in metric off the top of my head. Maybe 72 centimeters, something. I don't know how it converts over. I have no idea how that crap fucking converts over. But it was fun. Yeah, I bet, man. I know those little cars, man. People might make fun of the little cars, but when you get in one of those things and you feel like you're in a rubber band coming out of every turn, and you're just like grabbing gears. You're just flying through gears because like you rev out so quickly on a small motor. You're like, whoop, change, whop. It's kind of funny. 195 maybe? Okay, yeah, something like that. I have no idea, man. I don't know the conversion of that crap. 197 centimeters. I don't know. It might be right there. But But let's go ahead and dive in. Bam. So EK introduces a new series water blocks for NVIDIA A55 GPU workstation GPUs. These are basically workstation GPUs, guys. I mean, let's be real with what they are. But you guys know I like water block and stuff. You give me an excuse to water block, I'm on it. I'm down, Captain. Oh, Captain, my Captain, I am down. So it looks like you'd be getting 2 flavors for this, which I kind of like the options on this. To me, that's... I don't know about you guys, but for me, I like this functionality, right? You got the provision for the rear power plug connector at the back here, right? You got the provisions here for your water tubing to go in. And what's kind of cool about this is that you get what I'm thinking is you have one coming in, so it allows you to daisy chain your blocks together. So you have a distro block built in, so you'll have one hose going off leading into the next one, so on and so forth. It just allows you to be able to kind of cut down on some of the tubing, I guess, and kind of route it with better functionality behind it. It depends on how you're wanting to route it, but this one's a pretty decent option. I like the rear mount options on this one. And then this one would be like your standard GPU option right here. Standard top hoses. I like the idea that they're angled back so that you can lay it back. Still has the connector provision back here, so you're not losing anything like that. So I mean, it just depends on what flavor you guys want to grab. If you have an A5500, I don't, but I always like looking at this stuff. To me, this is like eye candy. This stuff is, let's be real, it gets expensive. I mean, for me to water block my computer, 2 radiators, water blocking, active front and rear cooling on a 3080 Ti plus a Threadripper block. That was about $1,500 US. So, water blocking is not cheap. It is not for the lighthearted. You do get some benefits from it. Like, you could sit there and put it under load a lot longer and not worry about your heat soak. And if you have enough radiators, you'll never actually achieve heat soak on there because you'll have more radiator cooling on there than you have heat being generated in the fluid. So there's that happy medium that you can easily overload the system just like you could with an air cooler, and you get no net benefit over time if you have it under a big load for an extended period of time. Like for me, if I'm mining on the GPU and the CPU, the water loop gets hot. What are you going to do? Other than, make a choice of either not having the CPU mine, and then the loop stays a lot cooler with just the GPU load on there. With just the GPU load on there, I can hammer on this GPU all day long, and that GPU will not get above like 55 C. I've got to clean the GPU water block out. I've been running it for almost a year now, and because of that, it's never turns off. So copper does break down in any kind of fluid medium. It doesn't matter what anybody wants to say. So every so often, part of water blocking life is you're going to pull apart your blocks and you're going to clean the cooling fins with a really soft bristle. I mean, I just did it underneath tap water with a little soft toothbrush, and the corrosion stuff came off real easily. CPU block started to respond. I started noticing that the CPU block wasn't filling up. These are issues that you're going to have even with this, and I'm using fluids in here that are supposed to be inhibitors to allow, and everything's, the only dissimilar metal in my loop is the nickel plating. Everything else is copper contact. So everything else being copper, the only place that it sees nickel that's covering the copper is in the water blocks themselves. So you could potentially have a similar issue even going on here. I do not understand why the copper wants to break down like that. And it's all EK stuff, just like these water blocks. These are also EK. Everything I have in here is EK. So you would think that everything would play nice with each other. And it seems like, after about a year, you're going to have to open up this water block and clean it out no matter what. So you not only have the extra cost, this is probably going to be a $200 to $300 item here. And every year you're going to have to crack this bad boy open and probably clean it. I'm going to almost guarantee you if it's on 24/7, just like mine. I'm at that point where the GPU needs to get pulled apart. I just pulled apart the CPU last weekend. I'm thinking about pulling apart the GPU this weekend. I have to see if I have enough pads and everything to swap it all over. Hopefully I do. Nemesis, let it burn. Yeah. Right, just let it all torch down. But, it's like, you see that it bolts right up on in there. It's not active front and rear cooling on there. It's just got a solid back plate on this. Let me see if it... No. Yeah, so it's just a standard solid... It'll be just a standard solid back plate that gets bolted in through. The only real cooling is on the front side of the GPU, but it is going to cover all the important stuff of where things like to get hot. So the VRM, the power controller on it, and the VGA core in this, the memory modules, of course. But they're going to be concentrating more onto the power rail to keep a lot of the power rail from overheating and throwing the NV tool errors. But a potential hint of what's going wrong with mine is that it could be the actual power controller for my A2000 might have burnt up. And if it's just a power controller, I have to figure out how to test for that. As soon as I figure out how to test that power controller, I'll be able to sit there and see if that just that committed suicide on it, and all I got to do is just replace that and hope that it didn't cook anything else on the board in the process. So hopefully, right? That's the famous last words. But oh God, get out of here, the dude with that R9 390, dude. That's a relic. That is what we like to call in the modern world wall art. So I'm gonna, it's like I gotta pull apart my stuff. You're gonna have to do that with this. A lot of water blocking does come with its water blocking issues. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys, if you're going down the water blocking route. For mining wise, I don't recommend doing it just because of the inherent issues with it all. That's just my viewpoint on it. Each person's going to have their own experiences with this. But from my experience, it's not much of a problem if you're dealing with it just on your own personal rig. But over time, it does kind of get a little annoying. Yeah. And if it gets really annoying on me, I will put the original air cooler on the GPU, and I will run it without water blocking the GPU end of it, and just have the CPU be the only thing getting water blocked, and then I'll never have an issue on that again. I never had an issue with it whenever I was running it with an air-cooled GPU. I was able to overclock the snot out of my computer. And you to the point where just the heat would just be bellowing out and everything. It's just like, eh. R9 390 is like the Stormy of GPUs. Big, hot, and can take a lot of paste and noisy. Oh my god. It's doing great here. My R9 390 is an ETC monster. If you don't mind paying the power rate on the card, it's not too bad. Or if your power rate's really low, you know, or it's like damn near free. You know, like there's some places here, even in the United States, where your rent and power are all included into one bill. Mine on. What up, Wheeling Crypto? What up, my dude? What's up? All right, so moving along, guys. We got the AMD 7800 X3D, supposed 9 to 12% gains in performance thanks to optimizations. So MSI's internal testing of the 8-core Zen 4 CPU with the 3D cache has been leaked. Dun dun dun. That's right, that's right. So it looks like, from what it's determined, that it can provide about a 2 to a 4% boost in average. The document claims about 9 to 12%, but it looks like those are like kind of individual results. Memory upgrades alone give a 2% increase, with high efficiency mode increased by 1%, and another percent with enhancements and mode boosts. MSI profiles are precision boost overdrive. So you have 100% utilization on their, stock in its stock setting. Upgrading DDR5 6,000 mega transfers per second, you get 102% of your performance. DDR5 6,000 mega transfers in high efficiency mode, you get about 3%. And high efficiency mode plus enhanced mode boost, you get about 104% stable, it looks like. And that's always the big thing. You want it to be stable. You don't want to be sitting there playing around with it. But remember that the X3D chips, they're pretty much locked out on individual tweaking. So they really don't want you messing with this. Unfortunately, that it's, if you're wanting it for gaming and streaming and stuff like that, perfect chip for you guys. If you're looking at it from the mining perspective, that you want to mine Monero with it, don't get the X3D, just get the regular X. You don't need the 3D cache cores in there. It does you no good from the mining perspective. Just saying. I'd rather just have everything be top performance cores in there without any of the 3D cache stuff in there. I don't need all the glitz and glamour on there. I just need a basic chip. Basic chip for a basic board. Got all those B's in there. Got all your orders, systems for the Dell Optiplexes. Nice, nice, nice. That is awesome, my dude. That is awesome. Good to hear, Wheeling. Good to hear. It's like I never had a R9 390. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's ancient hardware, man. That is ancient stuff. That stuff would have R9 390s would have mined Litecoin back in the day. So, it's like we're seeing like just like a little bit of a performance uptick in all of this, but again, not worth it for mining side of it. Gaming, I still probably would go with the non 3D cache on there. A 7900X or a 7800X probably be the sweet spot. It doesn't look like they've got a 7800X out yet, but they got the 7700X. Even that would be not that bad. Low power, great performance on there. Get all the new architecture styling on there. You just don't need the X3D cache. That's just me. You guys think you need it? I'm not gonna disagree with you if you want to check it out for the gaming, because in certain cases it does allow AMD's CPUs to perform nicely in a game. I don't myself see any difference but I do everything with a Threadripper, so it's like that thing is not even optimized for gaming. Period. So who am I to say? Tesla K 4000 server card, $140 on Amazon. Not bad. I haven't played with a Tesla card since the K80s. I've got an old K80 right up over there on my shelf. Just saying, dude. An old K80. And we're getting, as we start getting closer to the 4070 launch, guys, we start getting some leaks. So we have the very first benchmark of the up and coming 4070 GPU. Maximum frequency 2.48 gigahertz. Compute capability memory 8.9. Multiprocessor count 46. Thread per multi-processor 1536. So here we go. We have confirmed that it's going to have 5,888 CUDA cores on there. That is the same CUDA core count as the 3070. It's the same. So it's basically, from the way that it looks to me, it looks like it's a almost like just like an optimized 3070. They didn't do much to it, and they throttled the hell out of it to keep the performance down. And how do I say that they throttled the hell out of it? They put this thing with 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory on there on a 192-bit bus. The 3070 came out with a 256-bit bus. Why are we cutting down the memory speed on this? That makes no sense, other than they are being very mindful to make sure that the value proposition is not big enough to jump from the 3070 over to the 4070. That puts the performance outside of getting the better ray tracing cores and a little bit of the better DLSS core on there for the AI rendering on this, right? You're gonna get a little bit more out of that, and it'll be a little bit more efficient while doing so, right? So I don't think that you're going to be looking at a huge performance difference between the 4070 and the 3070. So if you're looking at at the 4070 and going, hey, look, I probably want to upgrade that this way, I don't just start falling behind. At this point, until I see somebody with one of these mining already, or if at some point in time I'm able to get my hands on one for testing purposes and see what the difference on here is, because I do have a 3070 and I would like to see how much of a performance difference that the 4070 really would be over my 3070. So that's just my viewpoint on this, guys. I really just think that the way that they're doing this is not right, because they're holding the card back on better architecture, and it's almost like, oh, and Nvidia's like, oh, you don't want to let us make more money off of this, then we're going to cut this card down and just make it not worth buying. I don't see what they would have been able to do differently to make this even more any better, because it had already been leaked out that these things were sitting on a 192-bit bus. Now, with the same core, the CUDA cores on it, no addition in CUDA core count on the 4070 from a 3070 means that the performance are going to be right in line with each other. So there's really no value proposition on this card at all. At a $600 price tag, MSRP, which that means it's going to be AIB partner. If it's $600 MSRP, then we're looking at $700 to $900 AIB partners, and that just throws it even further away from a value proposition at that point, right? So memory bandwidth, 504 gigabytes per second, which is just a pinch faster than the 3070. And that's why I said the performance is not going to be too far off. You're going to see more efficiency changes on it than you are going to see any real big mining changes. It'll be within margin of error. A 5% change to me is not worth getting rid of hardware just to purchase new hardware, because then you're always you're in that motion that you're always spending a little bit of money out of your pocket and you're never getting ahead, right? And you want to look at it from the business perspective, from that aspect, is that you want to make sure you're getting the best value for your dollar. So a $499 MSRP is a lot better of a value proposition if it was for the 4070. I just think of where their pricing is at, just not worth it. It is just not worth it at all. The 4070 Ti, I would kind of argue a little bit that I don't think that it's completely worth it, even on the 4070 Ti for an $800 MSRP. No, 7,680 CUDA cores, so we're a little over 1,000 CUDA cores more than the 3070. So sure, that shows that it's going to have potential. Base clock a little bit higher, boost clock it a lot higher, almost 1,000 megahertz higher. And then you can see the max compute count is a little bit higher, and that's where you're going to see the mining difference, is that max compute, that max FP32 compute, 40 teraflops versus 22 teraflops on the 3070. That will show a pretty decent thing, but then they cut it on the memory with a 192-bit bus, memory bandwidth that's slower than the 3070 Ti. So we're at 504 gigabytes per second between both the 4070 Ti and the 4070 non-Ti. That, it's like, why? And the wattage, you're going to be using more power on there. I mean, it's not over the 3070. You're right in line of the same power, so you're not getting any efficiency more out of this card, and it's being cut back on its memory. So because the memory is being held back, a lot of people don't look at this, that it's like a transmission and an engine, guys, right? You have your peak torque curves for your engine, and you have a peak torque curve for your transmission, right? And you want to try to get those to be in line with each other so that you can have this really nice power curve, this really nice long drawn out torque curve that is sustainable through the engine rev RPM line. I know Rude's going to know this one according to the charts. I mean, he plays with this stuff a lot, even more than I do. I do drag strip tuning. I don't sit on dynos. I go to the drag strip and I tune it by how it feels on the launch. Did it hit heavy? But it's all about trying to get them curves to sit there and hit their peak efficiency values. So if I throttle back my memory, then my torque load on the memory is a lot lower, which means that I can easily overpower it from the VGA core, the engine, right? That means in order to get the power efficiency to go back down to where the memory is, I've got to drop my core frequencies down, or I'm sitting here and not letting them rev up all the way. So now I'm undervolting them, trying to pull power off, because any more power and it would just overpower the memory. The memory frequency and the VGA core frequency have to be, they tune in alignment at certain steps. Just like tuning on a dyno, just like tuning at the drag strip. It's all about just kind of finding those frequency curves where they're in alignment with each other. When you sit there and you cut the memory, not only the memory bandwidth, but the bus speed, you start really affecting the overall performance. So they basically kneecap the card and they know it. And and then they're still charging higher price for something that they kneecapped. That I have an issue with. Right there. What up, Vincent Gallo? It's like, nice, crypto and hot rods morph. So, what up, Crypto Hunter? What up? Smash that like it's not hard, fellas. Yes. How relevant will be memory quantity and, more importantly, cache for the future algos, in your opinion? Okay, so I don't think, unless there's a coin that comes out that's really memory dependent, you don't really need to make sure that you have a ton of memory on there. That's going to go in more in alignment to how can I put it, like video games, virtual reality, rendering workloads, stuff like that. Mining wise, it's a lot of times it's pretty light on the memory side of itself. I think that it'll be nice to have a good cache. So your memory bus speed, overall, your memory speed and your memory bus speed, this way, if it needs a few gigabytes or megabytes of memory real quick, it's got it there and it's fast enough for it. You know, just kind of like, for instance, the relationship between Monero and when you're mining Monero, you need to make sure that you have at least 3 gigabytes of RAM in your computer, minimum, for Monero directly. So if you're on Windows, you're probably going to need at least, putting in at least 4 gigabytes of RAM is going to be minimum in order to get everything to boot properly on Monero. So if an algorithm comes out that has like a little bit of a requirement like that, kind of like Ethereum Classic. If Ethereum Classic just takes off, Ethereum dies, and things start getting built upon Ethereum Classic, then we can see the reoccurrence of the need for memory because of the fact that it will be in demand for security. At that point, then it's going to be like, okay, did you make a right bet on this? At this point, nobody knows if Ethereum Classic is ever going to blow up. There's a lot of hubbub on there with a bunch of ASICs coming online for it. I don't know if that means that it's hard to say. It's up in the air if that's the direction you want to go. So hard to for a future algo, hard to say. But we're gonna want to make sure that we got a lot of CUDA cores on there for sure, because like a lot of mining algorithms, Raven and stuff like that, are very much core dominant. Very much core dominant. Not very many algos want to do the memory domination on there because there is an issue with a negative rate of return on memory dependent algorithms, and it's something that it's the reason why Ethereum needed to go to proof of stake, because they were eventually going to outpace the amount of memory that was built into a GPU. How much memory can the manufacturers put in the GPUs, and how quickly can Ethereum get there? I mean, if eventually you're going to be looking at 3090s, 4090s in order to mine, because you need 24 gigabytes of VRAM. So I think there's going to be a small limitation on that. You're going to see people wanting to do like a blend. And with the blend of when you're blending on the VGA core and the VRAM, you don't a lot of times you don't need as much VRAM, because most of the computation is being done on the VGA core itself. So kind of like how Ravencoin does it. It's got a little relationship, but that's not a huge demand on memory. So I think that that would be a better way of doing it, but it becomes very power intensive at that point. So uh, it's it's always a blend of things. It is always a blend. But I think, but at the same time, and then here's the other aspect of it that I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head with that would be as you get more VRAM on there, right? And you get a faster bit bus width on there, and you get your memory band is huge, right? It's also going to allow you to take the VGA core and clock the snot out of it and overclock the hell out of it, and really get that optimization in the higher frequencies. So it's kind of a dual-edged sword, I think. So that's just kind of where I'm kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place whenever I'm trying to buy new GPUs. Also, is like trying to get something that I know that the frequencies between the relationship between memory and the VGA core are in the right boost range. What up, Automatic Beats? And it's like, I suppose the better question is what does the memory quantity do for the hash functions, larger blocks, compressions of proofs? Not really. But the memory is going to be more in relationship to the boost frequency on the VGA core. Yeah, DDR5 RAM could provide some offloading options too, in line with what you are saying. It is fast. Why not use it? Yeah, and that's where some of the proof of useful work is going to come in, guys. So it depends on what also that aspect too. It's like, oh my God, there, you have proof of useful work coming in line. We got Dynex using proof of useful work. We got their variation. And then we're going to have Flux's variation of proof of useful work coming out. And how much is that going to change the landscape of future mining algorithms, trying to make sure that they can utilize the entire landscape of what you're plugging your equipment into to get the maximum amount of efficiency out of it. And then you're going to be basically penalized for having older, out-of-date hardware faster, because you're not going to get the performance upticks that somebody who's building on a brand new platform is going to be getting. So I mean, it's kind of it's always one of those 1-2 steps with mining. I've seen the landscape change a few times since I've gotten into mining. So this one's a little bit different because we see the emergence of a new way of utilizing hardware, and it's hard to say if that's going to take off. And if it does, then switching over motherboards, CPUs, and RAM is going to be beneficial. Keeping the old GPUs could still be beneficial because you're still dealing with the same overall hardware but different architectures. Like, yo, I'm rebuilding for power. Nice. Yeah, I'm still trying to build for power too. Hopefully that hopefully the power company gets to me with a new contract and I can get that signed and see what it's going to hurt me, set me back for getting a 0.5 megawatt worth of power at the facility. Nerd, there's always that pigeon coin. I need somebody to make a mineable chicken coin, dude. Oh, wait a minute. That could be Litecoin. I mean, is Litecoin considered the chicken coin? Duncan. Not too many people have many of these. This is like super rare. Super rare. Tonkins, yeah, Budweiser, yo. That's right, that's right. And then before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's topic, one last thing before I get into today's main topic, guys. So NVIDIA RTX 5090 will be a technology revolution. What? We already are seeing announcements. And NVIDIA has announced the highly anticipated RTX 50 series based on the innovative Blackwell architecture. Will be released next year. These GPUs have the potential to be the first mainstream multi-chip module MCM based from the company and could bring about the biggest performance leap in NVIDIA's history. It very well could. It could. Not saying that I'm not going to dog on them because we haven't even seen this come out yet. But this could sit there and they might have made a new breakthrough in their chip architecture technology. Very well could have, guys. So according to the reports, the 50 series will feature a new streaming multiprocessor design, as well as ray tracing design accelerator for enhanced performance. The GPU can also utilize hyperspeed bus connections. The SM and chiplets will also be manufactured on TSMC's advanced 3 nanometer process node. Yo, we are now at 3 nanometer node technology, guys. That means they are going to have a huge explosion of amount of processors, switches, gates, and all that cool little microscopic freaking circuitry inside of this chiplet. So this is going to be a very much, I mean, I wonder if they actually state how many transistors they're putting into here. I don't think I saw that whenever I was skimming through this. I was looking to see if they actually stated it. So the comparing to the 5090 to the previous NVIDIA GPUs, the RTX 50 series will be a major improvement. I know, right. So we'll see how this stuff really kind of comes out here. We'll see how this technology will really come out. It'll be coming out next year, so maybe even sooner. Maybe I would hope that they would wait for a full product stack launch and push it out at least every other year, or don't be launching new hardware right on top of new hardware. You burn out your market. You got to let everybody kind of enjoy the hardware you just released, and then because I think the releasing of the 30 series and the 40 series is still too close, guys. I really think that timeline is just too close, and it really just burns out the purchasing market. So hopefully they let this kind of go out as long as they can before people start raving for new GPUs. Now, I understand they want to keep interest up, and it's like I don't know how much that they could sit there and just keep on releasing product before they just run out of product. And they cannot produce it fast enough because there's still that research and development phase. They're not like Intel where they're 7 generations ahead. By the time they release out a new CPU from Intel, that CPU is 7 generations old, which is the reason why it's getting released, that it's been refined. So I mean, I like the research and development side of it, but you cannot sit there and just release, because eventually you'll have nobody to sell it to. That is always an issue with marketing. So we'll see how stuff really comes out as rumors and leaks really start coming out with the 5090s, the 50 series coming forward. And as we get closer, there'll be more news about it, guys. So I haven't seen any patents being pulled yet for it, so it might be just an announcement that they have, but no patents currently are being pulled for the 50 series. So until that happens, we can keep on speculating. That's it. All right. So let's go ahead and get right on into business, guys. Let's talk about, Scam Central, guys. I looked at this a while back and I kind of blew it off, right? I talked about it really lightly, said it just kind of smelt a little fishy. It was right after the Litecoin mining summit last year. Okay, this company, bam, Locotech, had made a debut there, right? Stating that they've got a 145 watt mining blade, I guess you can call it, a mining blade, you can call it, plus or minus 5 watts, that was putting out 2 gigahash for 145 watts, right? You start looking at the features and you're like, oh wow, man, it looks pretty cool, efficiency is off the charts, 0.0726 joules per megahash. Wow, that's amazing. Reduce and reuse. The hash blades significantly cut down e-waste by retrofitting into existing infrastructure. Say it ain't so. Do more with less. Get more hash rate using the same power capacity. No coupons, censorship resistant mining, affordable mining. A powerful small form factor lowers the barrier for entry to start mining. Customer service done right. Advanced RMA is offered. Open source, your miner, your choices. Focused on quality, assembled in Western Hemisphere hand-picked manufacturers. Active hash rate monitoring, adjusting the amount of hash blades that come to market to help maintain the profitability for our clients. Streamlined shipping, lowers weight, better rates, and quicker delivery. Sounds great, right? Sign me up, right? Let's stop right there. This is where it all starts to kind of go downhill. So, this is where they debuted, guys. Litecoin Summit last year, guys. Supposing this thing was real, why is everyone so excited without knowing what it will cost? That's kind of an important variable for the equation. Dakota Miner sounds great. Anything that they present a physical device in Miami in July, I have my doubts. Yeah, exactly, Vincent. They came to this event in July of last year. It was a rendering. This was the rendering. They had stated on here that it was supposed to, whenever I looked at it originally, it was supposed to be Q1 of this year. Q1. Quarter 1, guys, right? When do pre-orders open? No. Let's see. Deliveries are expected to start now in quarter 4. They keep pushing it back now. And you know damn well that they are taking in pre-orders from people. And there is nothing there, right? Absolutely nothing there. Now let's just take a look at the team. We got a co-founder, another co-founder. We got 3 co-founders and a full stack developer. So we got 3 money men in a software person. Where is their ASIC chip research and development scientist? You would think that that's kind of important to make sure that you can sit there and show, hey, we have somebody that's making our chip designs for us. Not here. 100% subsidiary of Harmony Chain AS. And we'll get into this address that's right down here, right? We'll just pick apart one little thing here. We have groundbreaking efficiency. They have no chip designer themselves. I don't know where they're going to be able to go get a chip designer to design them a chip that has an efficiency of 0.07 joules per megahash. Considering that Bitmain, the biggest Goliath in ASIC manufacturing, is at 0.36 joules per megahash. How are you going to sit there and tell me that without a developer for your ASIC chip manufacturing, that you're going to be able to blow the doors off of a Goliath that's spending millions of dollars in research and development for every chip generation that they produce? There is no way that you're going to sit there and state that there's nobody developing this. There is nobody. I talk to a lot of these obscure little ASIC manufacturers. There is nobody making these chips. I have been assured by an individual that does not want to be named in any way, shape, or form. He's like, nobody is making chips that he knows of that is more efficient than Bitmain right now for the Litecoin mining. Unless it's being done in secret somewhere that the world doesn't even know about. Exactly. A Goliath that can actually source of production. Foundries would tell them to Loco to F off. Exactly. A GPU with no fans. Fire! This is just a rendering. So basically, they're showing it a really poor. This is just a rendering showing ASIC chips on here. That's it. You're not going to get me to believe that they've got this thing to be able to run in production. There's nobody producing these chips. You can tell on their rendering here that this is not even this is a completely dummy rendering because of it's missing way too many components on here to make this functionally work. So I mean there is that. It from the perspective of just looking at the hash rate, the efficiency on it. Nobody's making that kind of efficiency. No one. If that was the fact, you would be seeing Bitmain coming out with something even more efficient. There would have to be a groundbreaking technology, groundbreaking in the ASIC world, something huge. And then at that point, I would believe that Locotech would be buying Bitmain's chips sourced directly from them to stick onto their own custom PCB. Would be the only way that they're going to make this. So they're relying on Bitmain to make that technology. At the same time, I think this is still just a scam. Why? Let's continue to dig in on this, guys. Like I said, I have seen a couple of people making videos on this. Now, I'm not going to sit there and call them out in any way, shape, or form. It's just not worth it. I would just rather sit there and get a better set of information out there than what I've seen, right? So, from the aspect of some of the ASIC developers that I do know, assuring me that there is nobody making a ASIC chip that efficient. Nobody is. Where's the patents? Must be filed, right? Exactly. There's going to be that too. Sometimes patents are a little bit harder to figure out where who's making patents for what. Patent office makes a lot of that stuff public, but unless you know what to look for, it sometimes slips past you. So I mean, without knowing, but now we can sit there and scroll down here at the bottom of their own website. First thing, let's go ahead and take a look at this address, fellas. This address, St. Olav's Gate 21B, Oslo, Norway, right? So, a quick Google search. Seems simple enough, right? Quick Google search. Check this out. Here's that quick Google search now, right? But bam. We have that Google search. It's a nice little building here. So it's definitely like an office style building, right? Hey, that flag there is kind of important, guys, right? Kind of important. Now, look, this is a business building, right? So we got Suite A over here, Suite B here, C, D, whatever. However they freaking number this stuff, right? Here is the businesses at here. Very, very important to read what's here. Because there is no Harmony Chain AS. There is no Locotech on this building at all. We got Bianco Norge AS, Viva Media, Embassy of the Republic of Kazakhstan. This is a freaking embassy flag. This is an embassy building. You think that these people are doing business out of an embassy building? I don't think so. It's like Street View. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have an embassy for the Republic of Kazakhstan. This is their address, guys. This does not look like a FPGA manufacturing. This does not look like an ASIC manufacturing. This doesn't even look like this is the company that they're trying to state even goes here. There's only 4 suites in this building, and none of them are that building, right? Not that I see here. I see a concepts for restaurants. Embassy, Viva Media. Yeah, I don't see this. I mean, am I blind here? Did I miss something? This is the stuff that you got to be careful about before purchasing equipment blindly, guys. Never trust things outright like that. Oh, Gallo. That's what it really becomes amazing. Really becomes amazing. April of last year. April of last year, this was done. I think that's a close enough for them to sit there and state that, yeah, I don't think so. Because they were already at the you know, we're talking about July. They're at the Miami event. It's like, you are the man, never doubting you again. I'm just saying, this is Scam City here, guys. This here is 100% Scam City. When I say scam, I mean it. I do not take these words lightly, guys. Let's go ahead and keep digging. I'm not done. We're now going to start digging in a little further, guys. Now, you start like Google searching Locotech. Now, most companies aren't going to sit there and try to take another company's name, right? Who does that? Bam. Quick Google search of Locotech. And oh my God, we have another company here registered as Locotech.ru. So, yeah, we have Locotech that has nothing to do with ASICs. Borrowing a name. So if you do a quick Google search of a name, you would think you'd pull up that company. I'm pulling up a company. It's not that company, though. I'm just saying. We get to dig a little bit further on this. A little further, right? We're going to keep digging, guys. It's a mining channel. We're going to keep freaking digging, right, guys? I'm just saying, guys, we are going to just keep on digging. Let's look at this parent company that has 100% ownership of Locotech, Harmony Chain. So here it is. Really cool looking software, website. I bet you this is from their product stack developer. He's a website developer. Oh, I bet you this is his forte. So here it is. We got this fancy little thing coming right on in, right? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, what's this? Data center? Arctic Core? There is no links outside of this website that even remotely talks about this. In the slightest bit. They say that they've got 2 locations and that they're trying to get a half of 5 megawatts going up to 25 megawatts in the future. I smell this whiff of Scam City from this. There's no proof that this data center property is even purchased outside of them stating this in this little documentation right here. Right? Bam. So, properties in North Norway properties, Greenfield projects, and Finnmark property available. We have to trust that these properties that, South Norway property, 1,000 square meter property in Hayden can be used for, they could be sitting there and pulling up a land lease that's being listed and putting it here that, no, we could purchase this if we wanted to. We're just letting you know this. Grid capacity, electricians working on studying electric grid access to increase a potential 5 megawatts. Potential. Nothing guaranteed. Nothing saying that they're going to be doing this. At least I could sit there and go, yes, I'm going to get a half a megawatt worth of power. I'm waiting for the electric company to stop dragging its knuckles, get me the contract, and then it'll be about 16 to 18 weeks and I'll have a half a megawatt. You see, that's a whole different statement versus what they're stating here, going, we're studying it. There's no studying needed. Hey, you call up the power company. Hey, can you do this? How much power is available right there on tap without having to build a substation? They know this stuff. There's electrical engineers. They can sit there and tell you, hey, yes, there's about that available on there. Okay, what do I have to do to move forward? That's how it rolls. These people are in it for business. You're not studying anything. It's not like taking an exam. I'm going to study this. The power lines are up there. Yep. Check. Did it pass? It's like if I was to run a scam, I would run it out of an embassy. There's no legal capacity to go after me. I'm technically on sovereign property of another nation. Yeah. It's like, but wait, there's more. There is. I'm not even kidding you. There's more, guys. Absolutely more. So let's go ahead and let's see here. Where did I look at that? That wasn't. Top shareholders. Right? You would think that if you got a top shareholder, that it's going to be a company that you know about, you've heard about, and not just like made up like names and words and stuff like that you're claiming has invested into your contract brokerage for trading of shares, right? Prosium. 19%, almost 20% shareholder. Delta, I doubt it's the same Delta that anybody would know. Oh, we got Lie here. We have Lie. It's legit now. We have Lie. LIE. They are a top donor. We can trust this now. It's a Lie. Demand Juvenaire. It's like, what the hell is this? You're not going to tell me that there is no company on here that anybody has ever heard of. This is their top shareholders. But wait, there's more. I can't make this stuff up. I just cannot make this stuff up, guys. You would think that at the bottom of a website, you're going to see some information on the company, right? You could read about us on the news. Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, and Financial Times. Yep. You can read about this on the Financial Times. Where's their article? They just linked a stock ticker. Because they are being traded somewhere. No significant news for Harmony in the past 2 years. It's a dead project. Scam. I'm just saying. But wait, there's more, right? Oh, they linked another one. This Bloomberg with showing the same thing. Not an article about them. A stock ticker, guys. A freaking stock ticker. Up. Let's take the Financial Times. I wonder what it could be. It's got to be a... Oh, it's not even an article still. Damn it. I was hoping for an article out of one of them. I really was. I was hoping for an article out of one of these. Nope. We got the Financial Times pointing to more market stuff. It still doesn't end there. So we got no articles. We can't read about anything on there. They link it to price tickers of a business that hasn't done anything in 2 years. 2 years. And it's basically being held by a very small select group of probably dummy corporations. So this is like a dummy holding corporation, in my opinion, which makes it more of a scam. Oh my bloody God. And let's see here. I need to translate this to some of that English, right? Harmony Chain reportable trading from primary insiders. The following primary insiders in Harmony Chain bought shares. Ben, whatever. This guy is one of the founders. Back on March 31st, 2023, 132,000 shares at an average price of 75 NOK per share. I don't know what the conversion of that is to US dollars. Probably it'd be about $1 something per share. After this transaction, Ben and close relatives indirectly own 14.7 million shares in Harmony Chain. So we got a majority ownership in one person. This is one of the CEOs. This transaction is considered to be, according to the EU's market abuse regulation, and is subject to disclosure requirements according to the 512 of the Securities Trading Act. They have put on their own site that they are fraudulently trading here, guys. Fraudulently trading. It has been flagged. Reverse splits. like, I think you were reading that all wrong. Not fraudulent, just disclosures notice. Yes, it is a disclosure requirement that this is insider trading according to EU's market abuse regulation. That means they are doing some messed up stuff. Gets even better than this, guys. So we know that their trading is not above board. The company, the local tech that they own, isn't producing anything. What do you mean, geek of all trade? Well, you explain that one. We'll go into... Yes, they are required. The thing that I read out of this, because I know how trading is supposed. You have somebody that is majority shareholder on this. There is a point on which, as a shareholder, you're not allowed, as a CEO, to own control of the stock like that, because it becomes a stock risk that the single entity can dump the stock at will. And in a sense, tanking the price. So he's directly disclosing that so that he's not in violation of parts of that law, of the Security Trading Act, because he is sitting here basically majority owner, which makes it a risk. And that's true, and I get that. I totally get that. That I haven't been able to find. That's actually a good question, Geek of All Trades. I'm not sure exactly how many are there. Let's see if I can find that. All right, I don't see. Yeah, they don't have, like, I don't see it listed on here. Like, I don't pre-order. No way. Yeah, no pre-order. There's no PE ratio. No shares outstanding. Public float, nothing. No dividend. There's like no information on this. And it's an ESG company. Yeah, check this out. Harmony Chain operates as a hardware and software company. The company specializes in computer development with a focus of an environmental improvement, reducing energy waste and CO2 emissions in the blockchain industry. Well, that's just a BS thing right there. There's no real waste of energy. Uh, we don't produce power. So if we don't produce the power, we're not wasting the CO2 for the electricity being distributed. So the emissions in the blockchain industry, Harmony serves customers in Norway, and that one's a big one. They state that they're in Norway, and then this kind of brings me up to one of my last things. Where is it? Did I? Here we go. And then whenever you also look at this last thing here. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. Harmony is assisted by patent law firm Finnegan for a litigation and law firm in Zako. This company is in Kazakhstan. Finnegan.com Finnegan is a Kazakhstan company. Operating also in Beijing. So there's just too many red flags with this whole loco tech. Way too many red flags. There are more red and they've had a year since almost a full year since they debuted, and still no update on their website. Still nothing outside of a rendering. There's just a lot of different things. Like your thing is, if they were a rug pull, they would have pulled by now. And how can I put it? I'm not sure how long you've been around Geek Trade in the crypto space and the mining space. What I have seen in the past, I will use an example with a company called Butterfly Labs. Butterfly Labs released a Bitcoin ASIC. Butterfly Labs took 2 years to get the Bitcoin ASIC out. So I understand ASIC chip development takes a while, but they don't have an ASIC chip developer on Locotech team. That's one big red flag in that aspect. But whenever Butterfly Labs finally released a few, they were so outdated, it was unreal. They got a quarter of the hash rate that they were sold on for 3 times the power rating. So as much as I would say I'd love to root for it, until they sit there and they go, yo, we are sorry, we dropped the ball. Here is our product. It is real. You can touch it. You can smell it. You can watch it hash. Let me plug it in. Let me put this in. Boom, here it'll pan over and look at the miner directly. Beyond that, this just reeks of scam central here. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. Where did that money go? Hey, I'll even interject that one the same way. I purchased a Squirrel FPGA as they went bankrupt. Where did my money go? I waited a year and a half to not get my FPGA from Squirrel, and to be given paperwork, court documents from Ohio that Squirrel Industries went bankrupt. So, yeah, I tried to purchase an FPGA. It was like, what money? That's been a few years ago, bro. I'm never going to see any money out of this. Squirrel stole my money. And if you want to know what the guy's name is, you can thank GPU Hoarder. The sleazeball that loves Ethereum. He's one of those Ethereum sleazeballs. and you know, he sat there and made himself FPGAs with my money, but not anybody else. It's like, oh yeah, there are definitely scams out there. Bad company management too. Hell, you got screwed by Voyager. Woo! It's like I'm still waiting for my Bitcoin. Yeah, so I mean, this is why I kind of stay away from a lot of new hardware, but this one just too many red flags. Way too many red flags. And you know, there are a lot of scam websites that are out there. And I don't even know how long this website has been up, how, you know, if they are, you know, how much money they've actually taken in. You know, they keep on renewing their licensing for the website. So their license is all up to date. So, you know, it's like, I say this for me, I'm going to sit there and, in my opinion, I'm stamping this one with scam. This one, I'm definitely stamping scam. I've been around long enough to see stupid stuff like this. Even some of the jazz, like when, you know, some of the other miners that I've seen come out, at least they might have had some questionable video, but they were showing hash rate. And it was just like you couldn't tell what it was hashing on. And then six months later, they come out with a product. You know what? It raised a little flags, but not enough for me to sit there and outright call some of those other ones, you know, like the Jazz Miner, an outright scam. The only thing that I questioned with Jazz Miner was if it was an FPGA or if it was an ASIC. That was my only question because the hardware was so hard to tell. At least they showed a product they could put their hand on, and you just kind of looked at it and you're like, how did they do that in that little thing without it overheating? And then and then people started getting their hands on it. Cool. But at least they, by now they should update their website and be like, look, it's hashing. We have a working prototype after a year. They still don't. At the conference, they said that they were in final production of the chip. Why are we not seeing at least prototyping? Even if it's blowing up. Hey, this is prototype 1. It committed suicide. Hey, this is prototype 2. Yeah, it was good for like 5 minutes and then it wasn't destined for this earth. It's like, I would sit there and say we need to make sure that, it's like we keep these companies away from some of the noobs that'll be trying to purchase one of these. What's kind of funny is that I believe they have a minimum pre-order on this, guys. It's not here. Hold on here. I know that they had it listed, what their minimum pre-order was. 350 hash blades or more. If you, let's say they're $1,000 a piece, you're talking almost almost $500,000. I mean, that's just rough napkin math there. $1,000 a piece. You add 3 zeros, it's $350,000 for 350 of these, or it's going to be even more. Order 350 of them as Red Panda Mining. So, yeah. I tell people to just stay frosty out there, guys. It is not worth trying to get scammed out of products, guys. This one just has all the tall tale signs of it just doesn't. There's too many red flags, especially when you're linking that your business is running out of an embassy. That has to be like the oldest trick in the book, because they don't ever expect somebody to actually Google the address. And they're going to sit there and pick an address they're going to pick a real address of a real building. You know, there's been scams out there that the address they picked was like the middle of Central Park. That was their address, was Central Park in New York. Yeah. This is not the first time I've seen something like that. As soon as I Googled that part, it kind of got me curious to know about every other direction on here. And it's just like, I would love to see something that was more efficient than Bitmain, but I don't think that any small company is going to be able to really out research and develop a Goliath like Bitmain or WhatsMiner. There's been a lot of companies that come and go, and this one hasn't even come into the picture to even come and go, but I think they've already left the building. I don't think anybody will ever see any money, their money back from this. I don't think any of them are ever going to get refunded in any way, shape, or form. I think that anybody that they've been doing pre-order sales with are SOL. Like, what up, Derek? He's like, one guy did a little chart and showed that the price is going to be over 1900 thereabouts. Unless they get scooped up by a huge mine and an exclusive deal to distribute to them for the 5 years or whatever. I could, in that case, I wouldn't update the website either. Yeah. I don't think that they can get enough research and development. You're looking at just not being able to keep up with the tech. Exactly. Exactly, Vincent. You're not going to see, unless you have an unlimited pocketbook. TMC is not going to mess with a little production of 100. And realistically, that's usually what I end up seeing with like a lot of these little companies that have produced ASIC chips, and I've seen some obscure ASICs over my time. They produced like 100, 150 of them. It was a test batch. And they realized that it just wasn't worth it. For what they went through to purchase everything, to assemble it, cost of their production, and then the efficiency of the chips. When Bitmain had already become a Goliath. I think that it's like I root for the little guy when it comes to new mining hardware. I'd love to see more saturation in the market, but without a big known investor stepping in to help them out, I just don't see how that's happening. And if they don't have a big investor stepping in and a very good chip architecture, I don't see how that they can pull this off without anyone in the tech sector to even glimmer word on this. It's like, I've talked to a few guys that they will purchase Bitmain chips and make their own ASIC shells out of them and make them into their purpose, how they're mining, right? And they're like, yeah, no, I don't know anybody who's doing that. He's not the only one. I've posted video before on it too. I did a video on this in July of last year. Blue Star is the only other one I've heard of, or at least producing and shipping as an option. Huh. I got a very noisy bird that's yelling at me. Yeah, Patrick did it. Panda did it before. I did it before. There is a bunch of people that have done it. I try to go over stuff and like I do deep dives on stuff every so often when it comes down to hardware. I did this with the CoinMine 1. Go ahead, look it up. I called CoinMine 1 a scam the day it freaking launched. They're no more. Go figure, right? They didn't bring the market half of what they were saying. The equipment that they were shipping out was an absolute lie. You were not buying the hardware that the website said that you were getting. Period. The only one that got the CoinMine 1 as intended was Voscoin. He was the only one that got the hardware that was listed as intended off of the website for CoinMine 1. What me and Mikkel got was not the same. We got some generic custom built RX 580 and some APU in there. It was I forget what the full specs were supposed to be on. I mean, I knew it was supposed to be like an RX 580 in there. I was cool about that, but they weren't showing it being some generic custom job. And then the APU, that one was like, oh wow, we're losing a lot. And it's like, I called them out as being a scam years ago, and now they're gone. And people never ROI'd on their stuff. And it gets better with them too. That when they went belly up, if you had any crypto still left in their system, it left too. So I tell people to constantly be careful whenever you're seeing revolutionary, most efficient out there. I usually tell people to slow down. Let's see if this thing is legit here. If you don't mind, how to get cost effective plus available FPGA today, single or a couple of units for hobby. It depends on. I would sit there and say, look at Offspray with the E300s. Those are basically repurposed BCU 1525s, 1526s, something like that. Grab Xilinx and wait. You could try to find on the used market some old BCUs. It depends on your coding ability and your ability to get your hands on bit streams. The way that I would probably do it myself would probably be going with Offspray and getting the E300s at this point. Get good support with them. We're running a few of those for a customer at the facility as of right now. We have 3, I think, at the facility running. But I don't know. And cost effective to me is. Hold on one second. I got a bird that's like really singing over here. That's hilarious. My cat is sitting outside of where I keep the little baby chickens. My cat's sitting right outside. It's all mesh around so they can see the cat. And all 5 of them are standing right in front of the cat singing. That's hilarious. Yeah, for sure, Gallo. For sure. Check out those BC. Check out the Osprey. Um, they're a little expensive, but you're getting 3 BCU 1525s, and all in one unit. So definitely check them out. I think that's right now the best way to go. So does anybody got any other comments or questions before I sign up out of here? Xilinx C1100 at 2500 and wait forever. No thanks. Yeah. I mean, I like the Xilinx technology and everything, but you are going to be waiting a while to get them. That is for sure. Does anybody else got any other comments or questions? If you don't have any other comments or questions, certainly drop some FAs in the Chizity chat, guys. Yo. And everybody that's been here participating in the conversation, thank you, every last one of you guys. You all rock. Patrick, Integra Guy, yo. Fudd Weiser, Derek, Vincent, yo. Geek of all trades, thank you everybody for being here. You all rock. Certainly, if you ain't got any more comments or questions, certainly drop some FAs in the Chizity chat because you guys are rated F for freaking awesome. Yo. Any idea how loud the off spray is with Noxua? I'm not even sure. In the facility, it's hard to tell what fan's the loudest one. There's a lot of fan noise in the facility, so your daughter asked where the kitty went. Annie. I'll get her. Hold on. Come on. Kitty, kitty. Flop. Nope. This is not trust. This cat is properly abused. Look at all of that abuse. Oh. That's where the kitty went. Kitty's always right here. She loves the kitty. Awesome. Then she must love the Chunkins too. So I'll be doing some more stuff with Chunkins here, all that good stuff. So if you guys like the chicken stuff, guys, certainly check that stuff out. It's being able to control your own food. It's just a way to be able to DCA into your own body. F.A. kitty, F.A. F.A. for animals. Yeah. I love the animals. For sure. So thank you everybody for being here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you'd like to have your rigs hosted at the Family Mine, certainly just think about joining the Patreon. Links down below. Get into the pseudo hasher tier. It'll lock you in for VIP. This way you know you can get your rigs on our shelves. I want to make sure that everybody that's in the community can get their rigs on our shelves. You'd be looking at like 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour, all in. That's everything in. And then if we're able to sit there and get our price to come down, we will certainly drop everybody else's as our price comes down with the electric company. We're having to sign a brand new power agreement, which that's going to change everything on our business plan side. But nothing that we can't overcome and get through. So we'll be looking at about 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour for everybody. And then as time goes on, hopefully we can get reevaluated and get a lower locked in rate. And I'll be able to lower everybody else's power too. My goal will be to get everybody down to that 9 cents per kilowatt hour. But it might take me a little bit longer to get down to there. So we'll be able to offer about 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour. It's still the cheapest in town. I have yet to see a hosting facility that even remotely come down to our pricing. So in the greater scheme of things, yes, it's like a little bit of a setback for our power agreement that we were trying to secure. But the person that we were using their power agreement, they are dissolving the business. So that also gets rid of that nice little power agreement contract. So it is what it is. Move forward, all that good stuff. It's like I have to stop dragging on my feet. It's like, thanks for the great stream. Hope you guys do really well with your new business. Thank you, Vincent. It's like I have to stop dragging my feet on that. 100%, Patrick. 100%. Get into the Patreon. The link is like right down below. Get into the pseudo hasher tier, and then you are secured at the family mine when we get the power. It's happening, guys. It is happening. 100%. It is happening. So with that being said, thank you everybody for being here. And don't click off on the video. Click off one of the suggested videos for YouTube. I'm trying to get that click-through rate a little bit higher. And a few of you guys have been participating. And I appreciate that. Yo, you guys rock on that one. So click off of one of the videos that YouTube suggests to you. And it helps my channel out just a little bit. Thank you. You all rock. Peace out. Stay savage. May your watts be low and your hash be high. And I'll see you on the next one.